Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of the Lisa Pezik Show. I am so excited about this one today. Oh man, we are talking about daring to be different. Ooh, I was just sharing with Amy, who I'm going to tell you all about, who I have on the podcast here with me. I was just sharing, if you've watched the Super Bowl this past year, about how there was so much divided different opinions and ideas of the way things should be, and just so many opinions and things flying around. That is the world we live in. And I think now more than ever, our youth, women, even men, we're just afraid to come into who we are and do it our way. And that is why Amy is here with me today, and we're going to be digging deep into that. So before I introduce her, Amy, thank you for being here with me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh. So let me tell you about Amy. Amy Broccoli, yes, her last name is Broccoli. You're not going to forget that one, is an entrepreneur, wife, mom, coach, and athlete with over 12 years of coaching experience, as well as many years as an athlete. Amy helps athletes of all ages realize their true potential through strength training as a co-owner of Red Panda Strength. Ooh, I cannot wait to talk about the naming around that. In Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. She's a Jersey gal. She is a level 1 certified USA weightlifting coach and a competitive masters weightlifter on the local, national, and international level. Now, she also is a co-creator of Inspired Purpose. And if you tuned into not the last one with the one before, we had Penelope on, and coming up we're going to have Tara on, and now here is Amy. Those three make up Inspired Purpose, and I'm so excited to have you guys all on together too. Your mission is to show that by lifting each other up, the world can be a better place. And they do that through public speaking. I was on their podcast, so make sure you check that out. And they showcase stories of faith, love, and positivity.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So let's dig in. So much going on. So you're a weightlifting coach, and you have this gym, and then you're doing this Inspired Purpose. And I think when people hear this, they think, okay, like this girl's always had it going on. She's gifted. Life comes easy to her. She just, everything she touches turns to gold, and she's magic.
Right. Yeah, no, so not the case.
So tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, I think, do we want to start back, like maybe just throughout my life? Just like we talked about earlier, just being, daring to be different, learning from my mistakes and allowing myself to actually fail. I've had a failed business, and you know what? You walk away and you learn from the mistakes you made, and you hope to not make them again. But I think it took me a long time to really understand and appreciate that I was different, and embrace it. So, you see me 20 years ago, it wouldn't have looked like this whatsoever. And I probably maybe would have laughed at you if you would have said, this is where you're going to be. Well, in New Jersey too, you know what I mean? I was, in the Midwest at the time, but
So you're not originally from Jersey.
No, nope. I'm a transplant, but I am a Jersey girl now. We're going into my 16th year here.
Wow.
And I do love it.
Nice. So when you say like you would have looking at you 20 years ago, what did that look like? What was that?
20 years ago, I just had my older son. So I was very young. I was living in the city of Chicago. I was a single mom, pretty scared, still young, not really having much figured out except for, well, now I'm in charge of this human. And I was working in the restaurant business. I did become a manager right around then. So I have been managing people in some aspects in over 20 years. So I have lots of really good stories too. So that's another episode. But so really just trying to figure out life and raise a human, working in the restaurant business, just surviving, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you weren't doing anything in weightlifting, competitive
Oh, no. No,
sports.
I played, so I started, my athletic career as a dancer. I was a ballerina. And then I started playing soccer. And much to, my parents' chagrin, I did choose soccer. When I was about 12, I switched to solely soccer, and played that, and then played briefly, in college. And then I didn't do any sports for a while. I did take up running. I ran a few marathons, half marathons, and then found CrossFit about 10 years ago and
Mm,
really fell in love with the weightlifting aspect. Then it's been, I'm in my third year of competitive weightlifting. So that's kind of my
hmm.
sports background. But I did coach. I started coaching soccer. Oh gosh, yeah, like 12 years ago. So I've always been involved with soccer, and it will always be a huge part of who I am for
So
sure.
your first kind of daring to be different was you kind of mentioned that your parents wanted you to go down the ballerina
Oh yeah,
route. And not that, I mean, you can be a ballerina and play soccer at the same time,
sure, yeah,
but on paper, when you look at ballerina, or you think, again, the judgment, you think
right,
ballerina, you think one thing, you think soccer, you think another thing. So your parents kind of clearly wanted you to go towards dance, go towards ballerina, go towards that way.
yes,
And you went, actually, I really like being on the soccer field.
right.
I feel more at home here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always did. Yeah. So I think even growing up, in the neighborhood, I was out there climbing trees with boys. Yeah. My poor mom would put me in dresses and I'd just be like, I'm still gonna climb trees, so we should probably put pants on me.
The
Yes,
views
I
are
did
going to
give
be
my
looking
mom.
up. Yep.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so doing that. And then, just with different times, I did have to play when I was younger with boys, the sport of soccer. So it was generally different in that aspect that I was the only girl on the soccer field, and that comes with a lot of lessons. It did make me a really good soccer player, so I am thankful for that.
Mhm.
Um, but again, walking in a different path and dealing with peer pressure. It's a real thing. I was a shy girl, outgoing to my friends, like once you get to know me.
Yeah.
But once I got onto the soccer field is when I really shined and when I really truly became who I was and embraced that. And then in high school, that was definitely my identity, was the
Yeah.
soccer player. But I embraced it then. Junior high, not so much. Those were some rough years, but I think they are for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then choosing to coach, when I first started coaching soccer, my first team, I walked into the South Jersey meeting and I looked around and I think there was maybe one other female there. And I was like, wow, here I am again, like stepping into a world where I am definitely, one of the only ones. But as I was leaving the sport of coaching soccer and transitioning into weightlifting, I noticed a lot more female coaches coaching females, which is amazing. It is needed. I think sometimes that topic is avoided, but
Mhm.
I do know that coaching girls, I've done both, coached boys and girls, and there's two different ways to coach them, and it does need to be recognized. And I think the more female coaches we have that are in big positions, like the San Francisco Giants had a female coach,
Yeah.
which like it just literally, like, I almost cried because I was like, that's it. Like we do deserve to be out there. We have a different way of coaching, and I think that's where I definitely started really embracing my differences and you know
Mhm.
and
It's
stepping
like,
out. Yeah.
yeah, when you see like the picture of that coach, it's like when you
Yes.
see somebody doing it, then other women or other people go, oh my God, like that
Right.
people think is not possible, or that has been different or unheard of.
Hmm.
Once you actually see it, more people will do it. It was like the mile where they said you couldn't run a mile, was
Yep.
it under 5 minutes or something, right?
Four.
Or 4 minutes, yeah.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
the time the person ran it under 4 minutes, then slowly other people, or maybe it wasn't even
Hmm.
slowly, I don't remember, but other people started doing it. And it's like,
Yep.
no, the thing that was supposed to be impossible is possible. Same with the marathon, too, right? Didn't the guy
Yeah.
just break the 2 hour
He did.
mark or 3 hour
Yeah.
mark, whatever that was, 3 hour mark, right? It's like,
Yeah.
don't say it can't be done. Don't say it's
Exactly.
not possible. So what would you say to someone who's sitting in that position right now? They want to be different. They know their capabilities and they know their worth, or maybe they're trying to make that decision, like their version of ballet versus soccer.
Right.
I feel better in soccer. I want to go this way. What would you say to them to get them to nudge them, or maybe if they're ready, just leap in that direction? What should they
Sure.
should they do?
Yeah. I think one, like it's definitely not easy, but it's very worth it. So
Mm,
there's going to be some major ups and major downs. And honestly, like as it's easier said than done, but the way I've really truly been successful in the last 10 years is just ignore the people that are telling you not to. The
mm,
people that are telling you you're going against what's normal, the people that are going to tell you, it's a lot of more than likely their insecurities that they're putting on you, and to truly believe in what you're doing. And it's okay if you miss the mark, because learn from it and you're going to be just fine. But
mhm,
definitely take the leap, because as long as you're aligned with what you feel is your purpose, it will eventually find its way to you and it will work out. I 100% can sit here and say that, like, yeah, from running businesses, like you have, and I've learned to really embrace the good days,
mm,
like really truly be in them and be present and be like, this is a really good day.
mm.
Um, Having a positive mindset is really important, but understanding that it isn't always going to be easy.
I love that you talked about acknowledging those good days and really like sitting in that and feeling that. Cause I think there's like maybe one or two types of people that either only ever see the negative, like negative Nelly, always talking about what's wrong, what's bad, being the victim, everything
Right.
sucks. Or like me, I find I'm like the go-getter that I'm just like, yep, check done. What's the next? Yep, check done. What's the next?
Yep.
And you don't go, oh my God, like I just did that yesterday. Or like, that was a good day. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you're that go-getter and you're always on, when you're a high achiever and a go-getter, you're always
Hmm.
on to that next thing, right? That you're not
Yep.
actually recognizing whether it's good or bad, that like right here and now, this is a good day, or that was a good day. Good things happened. I did good today.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a year ago I was that go-getter, that person that didn't, because when the bad days come as an entrepreneur and that, you feel it right away. Like, when someone leaves my gym, which is going to happen, it's a business. Like I fully aware of that, but because we're small and we buy into our members, would really affect me at first. Now I'm good. Now I'm like, okay. So on the days that, I have someone coming in and really just has been working hard at something. It's not, my business partner and I love when people PR, which is like a personal record, and that is part of the sport. But what we really like to see is growth. So
Mhm.
those are the days that I celebrate some of the smaller wins, and they really do add up to a really good day.
And that is probably why people feel that. Like,
Hmm.
I know when I first met you, so I met Amy, we were part of a best selling book. What book were you in? Women Who
Illuminate.
Oh, me too. That's right. You're in the same book as
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
Hello, right? Hello. We were in the same book together, and we were at this conference where it didn't matter. There's 6 books, I believe. I think Women Who Rise
Yeah.
is their 7th book of the series, and our publisher kind of got us all together, and we were at a
Yep.
retreat at her house. And this is where I first met Amy. And when I was literally, I can remember sitting down at lunch next to you at the table, and I'm like, "Tell me, about your gym. Tell me a bit about you." And you literally said to me in one of the first words, like, "We're just different. We're
Yeah.
different our gym. We just do it different."
Yep.
And people feel that.
Yep.
Celebrating, yeah, you want to celebrate the PRs, that's important when of course, you want to celebrate the heck out
Sure.
of the goal. But again, it's back to those celebrating all those little steps or all those days or those moments where
Hmm.
you did one more rep, you put 10 pounds on extra or whatever it is. I'm not in the weightlifting world, I'm making
Yeah.
stuff up, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right? Like,
Yeah.
just went a little bit farther than you thought you could. It might not be the PR, but it's another step forward. And I'm
Right.
sure people can feel that at your gym. So tell me, like, what makes your gym different? Or like, elaborate a little bit more on, you said, like, we're just nice to do different there. Like, what is that?
Yeah, I think I've definitely also embrace that too. You know, when you first open a business, I equate that first year to being like a newborn with like the bobbly head, like you see
Yeah.
me right now. And that's how I felt. I felt like everything I did, I was almost in like a bumper lane at a bowling alley. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Kind of like, oop, bumped a little too far there. Oop, bumped, you know, like just learning and trying and proving yourself. There is that part where no one else is putting that pressure on you. Literally, it's
mhm.
you. You don't realize that till you're out of it. And then I was like, we made it a year. And I was like, oh, we're still standing and still like, all right, this is awesome. And really what it is that my business partner and I do truly care.
Mm,
So that part is very genuine. We really try to build up the athlete and, you know, in the same time making them, depending on what their goals are, because we have national level weightlifters and we have people that come just to weightlift. And
mm,
truly establishing and staying true to our brand,
mhm.
learning from some of the best in the sport, and really truly the last two competitions that we brought our team to, like and I tell people we're small but we're mighty. um our
Mm,
goal isn't to have the most members. That's awesome if that's your gym's goal. That is not our goal. Our goal is to give you a quality coaching experience. It's very close to like, it's, you always have eyes on you. Mike and I are constantly learning. Our, you know, our goal is to be one of the best in the business. Well, how do you define that? I'm not quite sure, but I know that I'm going to constantly be learning for you.
yep.
But I also care about what goes on outside of your life too. So there's things that people bring into the gym that they can talk to me about. Um, the sport itself isn't very easy. So there are days you're just going to kind of feel beat up. Those are the days that I'm there to pick you up. And there's days that I'm going to push you to be, I will push you. If anybody that's ever been around me will know that I do push you. I am going to, when you're ready for it. I, you know, like I said, I've been around people, I've been managing people for 20 years. So like you learn a lot. And everyone can teach you a lesson. And I think I said this to my team, um, through, like, I'm gonna get emotional. So when we go to these competitions, I just look around and I'm so proud. And they wear this panda on their back and they're like such good people. And I'm like, this is why I do this,
Yep.
because they are different. And I love that they're different. We geek out over like Price is Right. We play these games, you know, like we have a game at the gym and it's fun and we talk about facts and
Yeah.
it's just simple, like simple life stuff. And this little gym in Mountie from New Jersey, but it shows when we're out and people come and visit. And, you know, it's like, yeah, like, and that's why I think it's, you know, we could market the fact that we do have certain level weightlifters and we do, and people do get better by coming to us. We see it. Um,
Yep.
but that's not what we sell. So we definitely sell an experience and it does show for sure.
I love that. My pen literally did not stop furiously because you bring up such a good point that entrepreneurs, I want you to know and hear what she said. I make my people do this exercise where you are homeless, you literally lose everything, you're pretending you lose everything. You cannot go and just get a job for someone else, but what are you holding up on your sign?
Right.
Most people hold up, please give me money, please help me. Again, not a judgment, that's just
Right.
a sign that they hold up. For you as an entrepreneur, what is your value that you bring into the world? What is on your sign? And what I heard is on Amy and their gym and your partner, and the sign is you are small, you know how to build small but mighty
Yep.
communities. You truly care,
Mm-hmm.
not just about what happens in their weightlifting career or their strength training goals. You care about them as a person. Every person matters. You know your people, and you are a constant learner so
Yeah.
that you can get better. So those 4 or 5 things, you can take that to weightlifting, to your gym. You can take that to your inspired purpose. Like
Yep.
that is your value, that it doesn't matter where we plunk Amy. This is the value that Amy brings into the world. And I
Yep.
think that's such a good point, because so many people get stuck on the, oh, well, I'm a weightlifting coach, I'm a
Yeah.
personal trainer, I'm a therapist, I'm a best-selling author, I'm a speaker, I'm a content marketer. No, that's the way, that just happens to be the vehicle for your values. Like that just
Mhm.
happens to be the way that you're doing it. But you could do that in any scenario that you're put in.
Right.
That is who you are. And I just love that. Like, and then as you said, you're selling the experience.
Mhm.
Because remember we were talking about that. I remember
Yeah.
sitting next to you and I was like, you never want to compete on price. You never want to
Right.
be like, oh, well, there's another. You don't want people coming in going, oh, well, there's a weightlifting, studio that does the same exact thing as you down the street. And, they're $30 cheaper a month. So I'm going to go to them.
Right.
And
Which
then
is fine.
which is fine. And then you go,
Yep.
God bless, like bless them or leave,
Right.
right? Like they must be serving. Price is something that's really important to you. That's an
Right.
experience for you. You go, because price isn't something that we value. I mean, you do, but it's like the small and mighty, truly caring, knowing your people, all of
Mm.
that comes higher than the actual price, right? And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know what differentiates and makes them different. And that's why I make them do the exercise. And that's what you just talked about, which is
Right.
so I love that. And I think everybody wants community.
Yeah.
We
They
definitely
do.
want to be around other nerdy people that geek out about the things we geek out about,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I do too. I think, yeah. And I think for me too, at first, I would see I still see it, and I would be confused, and then sometimes be like, why? Like people trying to copy what we're doing. And then, I would sometimes get frustrated or take it personal. And then I'm like, wait a minute. No, it's a compliment. And there are things that we offer that cannot be mimicked. And it's because it's Mike and I. And
Mm-hmm.
once I learned that, appreciated it, embraced it, my whole philosophy changed. Our whole really, like, we realigned. I did get a really awesome, I have two mentors. Highly recommend any entrepreneur, just ask someone, like someone you don't even think would be possible to be your on your business mentor, because they're so valuable and people want to help people, period.
Yes.
And this, I went to this guy. I said, hey, listen, can we grab a coffee and chat? And he truly bumped me. That's my bumper, like, hey, what's your brand? And I said that to him. He goes, good, sell that. And that's what we did. And
Mm-hmm.
it's all coming together. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
again, like I said, it can be mimicked, but it can't be replaced, or it can't,
No,
it's just
there's no other Amy and Mikes in this world,
right.
right?
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's the true meaning behind knowing your worth.
Right. Yep.
You hear that phrase, like you gotta know your worth, you gotta charge your worth. Like that's thrown around a lot in entrepreneur land.
Yep.
But the way you described it, I love how you said, like, there's nobody else that can do it the way we do it.
Right.
And that's true.
It is. Yeah, it is. And I think it took us a while just to us to believe it, because we're both very humble people. So you've been taught your whole life to be, we're both rule followers. We're both like, you know, decent athletes that have always been humble. So is that bragging? Well, no, because that's what makes us unique. And you have to embrace that, or you're just going to keep chugging along, and allowing the outside influence to choose your direction instead of choosing your own. and
Mhm.
and taking that risk. We take risks all the time, and you know what, we laugh, we learn, and we move on.
Mhm.
And each time that something doesn't work, we're like, hey, listen, we tried it twice, doesn't work, throw
Yeah.
it out. We tried it once, doesn't work, throw it out. Like, it's not like, ooh, you think that the gym down the street was making fun of us? If they were, oh well, we're the ones trying, and we're going to pick ourselves up and keep on chugging. And the gym industry, the fitness business, all of it's hard. It's I believe the second leading failure next to restaurant. So,
Mm.
you know, that pressure when you first open can change. And we fell victim to that because we're human, and we're like, oh, we'll take, whatever, but no, this is actually what we're doing for now. And being patient in that too. And I think that's huge for anybody starting anything. Find your brand, stick to it, make it simple. It will succeed. You have to be patient.
And I love like when you talk about being humble or humility. And I
Yeah.
think that comes from getting your butt kicked.
Yeah.
from failing, and I always, people say, well, I don't know if I should ever like share my failures or I should tell people. I'm like, hell yeah, you should tell
Mhm.
people, because I would rather work with the coach or work with the person that's failed. A, because it's proof they failed and they kept going. They're resilient.
Right.
But B, you learn so much in your failures, right? Someone
Yep.
who has it easy and everything works out, they what's going to happen the first time something goes,
Oh,
they're not going to be
yeah.
able to adapt. Maybe they
Yeah.
do quit, right?
Yep.
But failure gives us
Oh, yeah.
so much stuff, right?
Yeah. So back last year, I had a huge fail. It's not, it is. Yeah. So my first year in weightlifting, I went to nationals. I got a medal. So this is the first year I'm in this sport. I make it to worlds.
Wow.
I compete at worlds. It was awesome. It was hard. It was a lot of things. So now I'm kind of strolling into this sport. Like I am one of the best in the world. Things should just start to happen. And last year, because the sport's blown up, they're regulating who, and it was in Montreal,
Oh,
the national
nice.
world championship. So here I am, I dropped down a weight class. I lift all this weight. I'm like, oh, I'm like 22 kilos over the entry total. I'm good. I missed it by one. It was devastating, literally devastating, because I was like, first time in my life, I didn't make the team, literally.
Wow.
So I was like, I don't know how this feels. And I didn't allow myself to live in that failure, because I'm like, well, I'm a leader at my gym. I have to show them that this is fine. And inside, I was kind of dying a little bit, because I was like, I don't know how to process this.
Yep.
Well, what started happening was I was like, wait a minute, this is never going to happen again. I'm never going to be in this situation where I don't, and unfortunately, with the way my brain works, it wasn't subjective, like, oh, you didn't lift enough weight. It was kind of their selection process, but whatever the reason, it lit a fire. So
Yep.
I don't think that fire for the way I'm lifting now, 8 months later would have existed. I would have been happy with, and still making good progress because I work hard and I have a good coach. But the fire that lives inside me daily to
Mm,
be successful in everything was
mm.
lit. After I had a dear friend, her name's Dana, look at me and say, you can cry about it, And I was like, I can. And I just cried because I was like, it sounds dumb that I'm crying, but I don't understand. Like, I should be there. I'm definitely, like, not just like not, and
Mm-hmm.
so that failure has ignited an entire shift in my entire life. So you definitely can learn from them. And, I've failed before that, but that was the first time athletically that my brain was like, what? And
Mm-hmm.
I needed that. I needed that catalyst to go into these competitions, never taking anything for granted, never taking the fact that I was naturally strong, or that, some things came easy and some things I have to work really hard at. And now I'm like, no. So I'm going to be there and I'm going to be present and I'm going to do the best to my ability, and it's going to be better. And I'm going to set my goals so high that I scare myself. And that
Mm-hmm.
came from that. But it was a dark place, like really dark, like a couple months where I just was kind of like, well, wow, did I attach myself to that identity? What's the lesson in this? And how am I going to never feel this way again? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it definitely, like, you embracing it, embracing the suck. That is an
Mm-hmm.
important part of it. It's not being negative. I always thought, well, you got to have a positive attitude, and you can still have a positive attitude and embrace the suck.
Mm. And
Like
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So lots of lessons that, you probably wish you didn't have to go through, but hindsight now, I'm like, yeah, this fire probably wouldn't exist for
Mm.
sure.
And I love how you brought up the point of like facing how you truly feel.
Yeah.
Like if you're sad, I think you're right. We get stuck in this, especially online or when you're an entrepreneur. I always talk about you see the highlight reel. All you're
Hmm.
seeing are people's successes and trophies and wins and income progressions and money made and launches and the best selling books and the da da da. We don't see that where it's like, holy shit, like I got my butt kicked there. Like
Yeah.
I didn't get selected. I didn't win. I
Right.
invested this and you could have burned that money. I didn't get a cent of it back. Like things didn't work out the way we wanted it to. I didn't, it's like nobody, you see the big thing, but nobody sees the 15 failures that happened prior to that.
Yep.
We were just having that conversation with our little guy last night. He's in karate and
Yeah.
he's stripe testing and he didn't get his stripe.
Yeah.
He knew the routine. He was ready. He was set. He was game. Deer in headlights when he went up. Something
Yep.
went off in his head. He got scared. He got flustered. He got lost and he didn't get his stripe. And when we were walking out, I kind of saw the tears starting to well in his eyes. And I'm like, it's okay, buddy. And he's like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but you can cry. I'm like, these
Yeah.
Bucksies are balling, right? And I'm like, it's okay to be upset. It's
Yeah.
okay to know that you did your best and you just missed the mark this time.
Yep.
You're going to keep practicing. Like you're going to get that stripe. But, I think, again, it was hard for me as a parent to let him sit in that pain and that discomfort. And I think we then as adults don't know how to sit in that pain and that discomfort.
Yep.
But because you did, it went from I felt shitty, I felt the pain, I felt sad, to you acknowledge that. So now it's like, next, now a fire's lit under my bum, that's never going to happen to me again.
Yep.
But
For sure. And
feel that. And that's what got you to that next place to go, that's never going to happen again.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it definitely, yeah. And it did translate into a lot of things in my life, just like reevaluating who my close circle is, how, like, is this goal stupid? Like, because I do get very focused, and bless my husband, because like during this, like I'm 4 weeks out from a big national meet, so I'm focused now. That means I go to bed at 8:30, I get up at 6. I don't, I will go out to dinner every once in a while. I'm very strict with my food, but this goal isn't dumb to me. And I think that's daring to be different too, because I can go to any social event and not have alcohol. It's fine. It's just out of the normal. And it does make most people, and that's why I reevaluated my close circle, because I don't really want anyone around that's in my close circle to not believe in what I'm doing. And that is really important. And if I'm going to go into this competitive year with the attitude that I'm going to do everything I can, and if I fall short again, I fall short, but I'm not going to allow that voice of doubt or that person to rain on my parade, because they just don't understand it. And I think that's important too with any business. Like there's so many, like even if it's the same business that your best friend is doing, you're going to have something unique, and you both, and that's the whole thing with Inspire Purpose too. Like raising each other up will help build a bigger network. And it's just trusting that. Trust it. Trust your brand, trust your friend's brand, teach them what you know, learn from them, and then you guys can be successful together. And the more people grasp that, the more success there will be. And I think more risk taken too.
Yep.
And it's important. I think that, that gets lost a lot. And I'm one of the most competitive people you will meet in life. I've matured, so that shit comes out in different ways than when I was younger, like throwing, board games across the room. It's fine. But, and I channel that. But at the same time, I do want to raise you up. And I've always said my success as a manager, as a coach, is seeing someone exceed me. That's the biggest compliment you could give, is seeing someone that you taught something and poured into them rise above you and now be more successful. So, and that's the same thing as raising people up. But yeah, so I think a lot of lessons there.
Yes, that is true leadership.
Yes.
You want your people to do that, to exceed you, to do it better than you.
Right.
Amen to that. Hell
yeah.
Yeah. So I got one more question for you.
Okay.
The next 10 years, like, what does that look like for you? Like the next decade of your life, like, what are you excited about? What do you want to see happen? What are those visions?
Yeah. So I've had a lot of clarity lately. I'm in a mindset group. I'm stepping outside of anything that makes me like comfortable. That's not, and I have a ton of clarity. I see a lot of success in the future. I do see Inspired Purpose doing some major things. Some, our podcast is taking off, and really like us, getting out into the country and then the world. And then I do see financial security for the first time in a long time.
Mhm.
I see my gym growing beyond the little building that it is now. My business partner and I really, you know, changing fitness in the area, and my team growing, myself being very successful in the next 3 years, give or take, as long as I stay healthy, being
Yep.
competitive in weightlifting, breaking the mold of what is considered, like that norm for over 40, proving that you can get stronger, that, it, just because you're 40 doesn't mean you can't pick up a new sport and be very, very successful at it. Um,
Mhm.
and then, yeah, enjoying my life with my husband. I think it's going to be an important chapter for us. We've been through a lot, and in 10 years, our youngest will be in college or whatever he decides to do. So we'll be, for the first time in our marriage, since, because I brought Marco with me, will be just Mark and Amy. So I'm excited for that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Love, love,
I see a lot of peace. Yeah.
hmm. That's beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that. Ah,
Thanks.
so amazing. So where can people get in contact with you? What's the best way? They want to follow up. They got questions. If they're
Yeah.
local to you and they want to join your gym and jump in, or what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah. So Instagram, my personal page is coach_broccoli. There I do mostly like what I'm doing in my weightlifting and, my journey. I'm pretty open and honest there. And then Red Panda Strength, one word, on Instagram. And then, on Facebook, Amy Broccoli.
Awesome, awesome. So don't worry if you are driving, if you've got a kiddo in your hands, you weren't able to write that down. I will put that in the show notes. Amy,
Yeah,
thank you for
you're
sharing
welcome.
all these nuggets of wisdom and real life experiences. And hopefully, listeners, this gave you
Yeah.
permission to be different, permission to own who you are, permission to keep it simple. I love how
Yep.
you said that. Permission to ask for help when you need it,
Hmm.
permission to breathe other people's dreams into existence.
Yep.
And one thing I want to circle back to quickly, just to end, permission to get really ninja in what you want. Like,
Yeah.
I love how you said, like, I'm not drinking, I'm watching what I eat. Like, when you put the stake in the ground and you set a goal,
Hmm.
everything around, it's like game on. Everything
Yep.
around you changes. Permission to own your environment,
Yep.
permission to
For
own
sure.
your influences that you let around you and where you put yourself.
Yep.
So many good nuggets in
Yes.
this podcast. Thank you so, so much, Amy.
You're welcome. That was fun.
Yay. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. We'll see you next time on The Lisa Pezik Show.